getting the word out, getting it started, getting those who are not subscribed a chance to get through the ads. Ooh, we got a lot to talk about tonight, y'all. It has been a crazy week. I've got the video loaded that I know we have all been waiting to talk about, but I'm going to get this cast started on a personal note because there's been some, as usual, Twitter drama. And what's that drama? Well, we have people who think they know everything and like to dismiss people's learned experiences. A dear friend of mine, I'm still calling him a dear friend of mine, despite the factions trying to divide, and you know who you are, you shit stirrers, so whatever. I love y'all too, but you know you're troublemakers. Anyhow, he went on this whole voter ID thing, which for the last 2 weeks has been another gotcha that doesn't need to be. And the whole idea of needing an ID to vote is asinine to me. As somebody who has been in areas of the South where disenfranchisement was a serious thing, and as somebody who's up north now and on the absentee ballot measure, so I don't even have to show an ID to vote, I shut down all of his points, but I made my whole venture into the thread in the first place because there was a lot of misinformation being spread. Not only did he dismiss the fact that black people were telling him that this ain't it, but then the fallacy of you can get free rides to the DMV, and if you don't have money, they'll give you ID. In what world? You might have had somebody who was nice to you and did that for you, a white man. And even though you're a white man who's in a marginalized group, you are still a white man. You're going to tell black people who have had doors shut in our face that, oh, we can just easily get IDs and, it's just an excuse. Okay. I'm going to show you how your little thread helped have another person who's going to be a topic of tonight's cast jump into my mentions. I need you to see what your kind of allyship does to women like me because I'm fired up about this tonight. But we're going to get to the video that really got me started. I'm sure most of you have seen this. Hey, Respect. Welcome to the chat. I'm not going to play all of it because it gets ridiculous in part 2 and part 3. But I think it really highlights
excuse
what we mean about
now
this demographic.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Okay.
Do you see this? Oh my God!
What the heck?
I never thought nothing like this would happen to me. She just tried to run and hit me.
And now she's welcome. Welcome to the chat, G.
Did you see her? You saw her, right? They all saw her.
The way she's behaving is disturbing as it is. But
Karen had a breakdown. She tried to hit me. Ask your workers. She tried to hit me. She tried to hit me. Now I want security for you.
She is.
Oh my God. You should have thought about that before you did what you did.
I'm about to stop this because my head hurts.
It don't even feel real.
It's the people around them not checking her.
I didn't try to hit you. Please don't record me.
She knew her shit was over. That's why she's doing all this. I mean,
y'all had to get security. She charged me. If I wanted to duck, she would. Oh no, you just wanted security for me, right? I want security for you now. No, don't cry. No. I want you to.
Okay. The thing that bothers me the most about women like that is she was out of pocket. From the whole story, because I dug deeper into this story. They were in Victoria's Secret. I guess there were coupons given for free underwear. I don't know. I don't wear that kind of shit. The woman wasn't wearing a mask. The young black woman that was wearing the mask asked her to social distance. The woman smacked at her. She got out her phone, catching her when she tried to smack at her. White woman turns on her tears. We have seen this over and over again. And like I said earlier in my thread about Dustin and his nonsense with the ID thing, that brought up on my little interaction with I hate using the term Karen, but I can't think of a better term for women like that because that's how they behave. And I'll scroll up to bring her stuff because little Miss Wendy picked the wrong black woman to jump in with her nonsense. I made her famous, and I'm going to continue to because Miss Felony Wendy picked the wrong woman. I don't have to be nice when it comes to bigots. And Wendy decided, in my response to Justin about IDs and why I don't feel they're as necessary as ease of access, said this to me. Past hurdles. I bet you show that ID when you apply for your food stamps, cash that welfare check, open a bank account, apartment rental, beer, Hennessy, cigarettes. What? What? Okay. Now, the food stamps thing don't bother me. Welcome to the chat, Shememe. Because I don't think it's shameful to get food assistance if you need food assistance. And a lot of Americans are on food assistance. So that didn't bother me as much as the cigarettes and Hennessy and every other negative. Oh, yeah, trust me. That's the thing I don't think people understand about my friends on Twitter. I know that some of y'all are in the chat already, but we'll find out about you. And Wendy's just an open book of tragedy. She likes putting her business out there. It did not take long, even though she blocked a bunch of people, to peruse her timeline and find out that she did 5 years of jail. I've never been arrested. I am a college graduate. I don't know what Wendy's issue is, but all the stuff she assumed about me, I'm guaranteeing you she's about that life. I might have hood tendencies. I grew up in New York. I'm a tough girl. But all the stuff she listed sounded like personal experience that she was putting on black women. So I called her bigot behind out. And then it turned around and she tried to tell everybody that she was getting death threats. Because this is what they do. This is that whole weaponization of their whiteness. And when I seen that, I was like, wait a minute. She's like seriously telling people that we are death threatening her. I didn't death threaten her. I called her a bigot several times. I even threaded it out because it was like, yeah, you're a bigot. You know, there was absolutely. I didn't even come for her. I said, Wendy also likes telling me I use my ID for Hennessy and cigarettes is not racist. Wendy fucked around and found out. She said, I am literally just blocked about 30 accounts in a row. I made a comment about voter ID and why people should have it. I was extremely attacked, including death threats. Bitch, ain't nobody threatening you. I don't have those kind of followers. Nobody was threatening your life, but you're a liar, and that's how they do. It's always about escalating the situation so that they can look like plantation princesses. Society has catered to this kind of behavior way too much. She came at me with all the racist tropes. I didn't come for her. I didn't even know who this woman was. I made a direct video in response to Dustin's ID thing, which I still say, Dustin, honey, if you watch this, it was an asinine take because you need to understand that while I respect the difference of opinion and while I think IDs are important for some reasons, for voting, for me, it's not. And you just had to prove you were right so badly that it pulled racist cockroaches out of the woodwork to attack your friends. So, how about that? Maybe less trying to be right on the topic and understanding that different people have different experiences. I tried to be fair with you. That was why I decided to be calm when I made that video response. And instead, I had to deal with idiots like Wendy the Felon. I'm telling you right now, while I'm not the type of person that likes to end friendships over differences of opinions, and some of y'all have been doing that shit and it's exhausting because we're all adults. We're all gonna have differences of opinions based on our experiences. It's when you get into that mindset that you can't be wrong, that you're infallible, that other people's lived experiences ain't the same as you that I had an issue with. And while I don't want to see Dustin canceled, because I've seen some people that are trying to weasel their way around that too, She know who she is, and she's trying to act like she's innocent in all this. It's just tiring when you see all the games people play online. But the problem with a lot of people from a certain demographic is y'all get into this mindset that you can act like this, whether it's to act racist or bigoted, then turn it around and act like you're the victim when people push you back. And too many women, like that Victoria's Secret freak out lady, or the women that call the cops on people for barbecuing or selling water or just existing while black. Historically, you have caused trauma. It makes it for people like me who already deal with paranoia issues not want to go out, because I've told Craig a few times I am at a limit. Hey, I'm at a limit with how much I've held in over the years. And I am not the one. I am not going to be out there being silent when some racist road monitor or store monitor type Patty wants to come in. And I hate using the word Patty because somebody dear to me is named Patty, but she knows I ain't talking about her. But when some white woman wants to come and act like she runs shit, she's going to come across me at the wrong time. And unlike that woman who is trying to be safe, I'm going to give them a reason to cry. I've already said it. I am at that point in my life where all the fucks I had left to give are gone. And I am just so very tired of seeing these macroaggressions. You know, when I was younger, I was like that lady who was filming. I wanted to mitigate as much damage as possible. I wanted to keep it as calm as possible. I was on this job where I worked corporate finance. I did bookkeeping, I did money counting. You had to dress for the part. One of the things I loved to do when I had a little extra money was go to not Victoria's Secret, that's in my head. Lane Bryant, which was for us heavier girls who worked in the workforce, and I got nice suits. You're on a corporate job, you have to dress the part. My friend who got me into the job, sweet white woman at first, I thought I was trying to show her up. And I said, I'm not trying to show you up. I am being professional. I am on a job where we have to get dressed up. It's not about showing off. It's about doing what I'm supposed to do. I got called aggressive. I wish I had been at this time. Every time I replay the conversation in my head, it's like I really wish I had been aggressive then. If you're going to accuse me of doing something, at least make sure I'm doing it. I ended up transferring out because I did not want to be in a hostile environment, being the only black person in the whole entire company at that time. You know, until I found out that there was like a outfit in Chicago that they wanted me to hook up with because, you know, racism was, I guess, benign in the 90s. But the fact that she was able to make me out to be the bad guy because I was like, you can dress up too. I didn't say anything upsetting. But because I didn't bow to the fact that I was showing off, I was aggressive. And I learned at a young age that white women, especially on the workforce, will weaponize that against you. And most people believe that black women are naturally aggressive. Now, I'll say this as I'm older. I can be aggressive if I need to, but I like to not get into that situation in the first place. So I can understand homegirl just taping that woman's freak out. I'm telling you that the me right now ain't that woman. You're going to have me being taped, beating the brakes off for her because I am so tired of these actions. We have seen it throughout history. White women lying against black skin. Emmett Till was murdered, lynched at the age of 14 because a white woman said he whistled at her. It wasn't true. She admitted it wasn't true. She's still alive. He would be in his 70s right now. He got lynched for her lie. And it's not the first or the last time a white woman has turned her ability to play both the aggressor and the victim on black, brown, whatever skin they want. And I say this as somebody who has white friends, who has white relatives, who I love dearly. For the few of them out there that I know are in it for the right reasons, whether it's a relationship, whether it's friendship, there are way too many of you that center yourselves in stuff that don't need your voice or input. Too many of you that act like we're beneath you or we're to help. Too many of you who look at us like we're second class citizens and then try to say things like, well, I don't see color, so I can't beat. No, you have to stop. And the best way to combat racism is to constantly be working on yourself. You can't just announce you're anti racist and then do racist bullshit. And a lot of you do that too because it's clout now to say you're anti racist. It's the hip thing to say that you're down with BLM. I'm not even down with the organization BLM. Why? Because organizations, and Axiom can attest to this for me, trouble me. They're always louder than the actual message. So if I see you and you're white and you have BLM as your hashtag, I'm a little bit more leery of you now than I used to be. Why? Because anybody could say Black Lives Matters in a slogan online. But if you're still doing macroaggressions, if you're still viewing black people as threats, if you're still making excuses when one of us is legalized lynch, you're not really about black lives. It really is that simple. I remember a few years back, because I play video games. I know that's not a shock. I'm on Twitch. One of my favorite video games is Dungeons and Dragons Online. I play that every weekend. I have a friend that I've been friends with for almost a decade. And when Black Lives Matters first started, they were doing a lot of protests in her area in California. And she's a white woman, and we had like a 4-hour argument. I know because we drove the guys crazy. We totally took over the on-air microphone in the game just to go back and forth because she wasn't listening to me. And girl, if you ever watch this, you know I love you, but your problem was you did not want to understand what I was saying to you. Her whole thing was we exactly Capricorn. And welcome to chat, girl. We were going back and forth about how her family donated money to the movement, which I don't know. I can't verify anything like that. We weren't an organized organization back then. And how she just felt like them telling white people that they need to stand in the back and not say anything was disrespectful. And I was like, it's not about you. And she couldn't understand that. And she was like, and I was like, I understand that you're giving. I understand that you're marching. I understand that you want to feel a part of the message. But sometimes being a part of the message is being quiet while the people directly affected spread the message. You cannot speak for us. And she was not getting it. In 4 hours, I should have walked away from the conversation. But it was so vital to me because this was right after Trayvon Martin died. And I was just so upset as my child was a young child then. But I kept thinking about my son at that age, which he is now, and having this white woman try to tell me that we need to make room for them to speak. Excuse you? Why? Why do you even have to say anything? This is not you. This is not your life. You were never trained as a child to look a certain way so that you're not viewed as aggressive. You have never had society look at your skin tone and tell you that you are different and the world is going to treat you as different. So when you tell me that because you donated or your father gave money or whatever asinine reason, that we need to make room for you to speak up on our causes, make that shit make sense. And she just didn't get it. And I just kept repeating myself because I felt that was the only way I was going to get through. Hey, Sayana, thank you for the resubscribe. And honey, thank you for the resubscribe. But for real, I get emotional about that because 4 hours. A hype train. Holy crap, guys. Seriously, thank you. But 4 hours of trying to explain to somebody who is the same age as me, but did not live my experience, why I cannot allow her to speak over Black people whose lives this directly affected. Why the Black Lives Matter movement was not for her. Oh, thank you so much for the bits, Capricorn. Thank you for the bits, everybody. I feel like I shouldn't have to keep saying things like this to any demographic. I would never go to a white woman and say, I know your life better than you. But I literally had a young woman on social media, of all places, tell me because she was doing a dissertation, she knew more about Black feminism than me, who is living that life. And what I try to explain to white people who come to me because they'll think I'm some kind of woke whisperer is that you have to undo all the stuff you learned as a kid. I had to unlearn anti Blackness, and I'm Black. Anti Blackness is so prevalent that you learn it in your own household. So if I'm constantly working on my own anti Blackness, you should be doing the same thing too. It really is that simple. Bigotry starts within. And trying to act like you don't have any is a roadblock. Acting like you've never done anything wrong is a roadblock. Everybody has learned something negative. And if you try to act like you haven't, you're lying to yourself and you're not going to be a good ally. I hate that word now. I hate it because people have used it to try to shut me up, which ain't going to work. And other people try to use that to get out of actually doing the work that you have to do to be a better person. Because that's what bigotry cannot face. People who are better than it. If you want to stop any of the isms, whether it's homophobia, whether it's sexism, whether it's racism, you have to be the better person. I used to believe that you can go and collect other people, you could fix other people. You can't. It is not humanly possible to fix other people, but you can fix yourself. And when you work on yourself, when you work on the things that you used to do as a person, things get better. I tell people all the time, racism is a poison, and we have all been affected by it. Bigotry in its whole self is a poison. My friend Case, who I love dearly, is an openly LGBT woman. She asked a hard question a few days ago about laughing and treating LGBT as a punchline. And when I was younger, things like Martin and Shanae. I even have a D&D character I named Shanae because I used to think the character was hysterical. I tried watching Martin a few months ago, and the stuff I used to laugh at, I don't find funny anymore. And it's like that with a lot of jokes that we used to spread around our community. I'm sure many Black people have done the dozens or know the dozens. Heck, in my family, that was a barbecue. Your mom is so fat. You're so ugly. And it always devolved into those insults. But when you're changing yourself, you realize you don't have to be like that. And I think a lot of people don't want to change those aspects of themselves because they still find that kind of stuff funny. They don't want to change that aspect because it is a lot of work, admitting the stuff that you used to do. And with white women, I feel like they're an easy target to attack. So I want to be mindful of that because that's not what this cast is about. I just want you to see the patterns so that if you are working on yourself, you know what pitfalls to avoid. Because we're seeing it. It's the cool thing now to make fun of Karens. You got these compilations on YouTube. Big name commentators making Karen videos. There's even an asinine movie sponsored by BET of all things from a no-name director that looks horrible. It's real funny when you're mocking women who really need help. Some of the highest demographics that experience both domestic violence and abuse are white women. They get indoctrinated from birth to serve men. And when they step out of that line by being LGBT or being any way different, like open with their sexuality or confident in themselves, men especially want to take them down a peg. So it is really hard for a white woman to be her own person. They are literally trained from the fucking cradle that they are there to serve men. And when you're in that mindset, oh yeah, other women, I'm gonna get to that definitely. I'm gonna get to other women, but I want to explain why they do these patterns. Because white women, especially, also have that layer of society privilege. They're up there in the supposed upper echelon and tier, even when they don't have the income to match, because we as a society has made the lack of melanin top for way too long. And they don't know what to do with themselves because they realize at a certain age that's not true, especially when the age starts showing. And that's why you see them carving themselves up, getting injections to get lips my size, getting injections to get asses my size. When, hun, all you gotta do is eat. I got my butt by eating. I know they say it's genetics, but no, it really is just eating. Seriously though, what they do is they want to rebel, but they can't. So they do as they're told. They live the life they're supposed to live, become married, have the babies, and they act out. Why do you think so many of them throw these childish tantrums? They don't have control in their houses. When you look at the way they go out into the world trying to micromanage, that one lady from New Jersey who literally went over to her neighbor's yard because they were fixing up their backyard to see if they have a permit. Ain't nobody coming onto my property to see what I'm doing anywhere. And in my house, it is equal for adults. We both make the rules here. But a lot of households aren't like that. And you can tell the women who are in households where they have little to no control or where they feel valueless. When you feel valueless in your relationships, that comes out. Whether people understand that or not, and I'm not saying that for you to pity all of these women. Thank you, dear. I'm not saying that for you to baby them because that's another thing they take advantage of. But I want you to understand the mindset of some women. Now, the point was made, and it's true. There are a lot of black women that also serve a lot of patriarchal fuckery, as I like to call it. But it's a bit different for us because a lot of times we're expected to be on our own no matter what. And a lot of men treat us like trash no matter what, and it's not okay. When we find somebody that treats us good, oh, he's a simp. He's not a real man. How come he's not treating you like shit? So it's way different when it comes to this. Because white women are expected to be sheltered and protected. Black women are supposed to have our own backs. But we still do some stupid shady shit when it comes to uplifting men. It's just most people don't expect us to have those relationships or to be protected by them. That is a main difference between us and most women. Because other women of color, and I hate using that general term, but it's a lot easier than to break it down. You see it whenever there's a strong patriarchal society, how do women act when it comes to their protection and how they treat other women. And when you don't have control, when you've been raised by your parents to do a certain thing, when you get into a relationship and certain things are expected out of you, you find controls in other ways, whether it's to be a really strict parent or whether it is to act out or, God forbid, they're allowed to work. Look at Amy Coney Barrett, that lady in our freaking Supreme Court currently, who is literally a part of a cult that pretty much wants women to be in a certain place. If anybody was worried about America becoming that Gilead from the what's the name of that stupid series? I'll think of the name. If anybody was worried about that, look no further than that woman on our Supreme Court. She is exactly the kind of white woman you should fear because she plays it off like she's a hard for a woman being in the workforce. While she is in a position now to roll back rights for women and is helping roll back rights for women. We got laws being formed in Texas where they are placing bounties on the head of women getting abortions because white women have been indoctrinated to believe that they are, thank you, respect, Handmaid's Tale, believe that they are like doing the Lord's work by being like this. It is a sickness. And the only way we are going to save ourselves from this is to work on ourselves and to not try to argue with these types. They're in doctrine. But the future generations don't have to be. We have to lead by example. For every Victoria's Secret freak out type, there are plenty of white women who are just sick of it. They don't want to be associated with women like this. They are constantly working on themselves. They are doing what they got to do. They are reading. They are educating themselves. They are the kind of white women that get ostracized by the social circles. I told my friend Helen the other night, and I was supposed to text Helen about this and let her know I'm live, and I don't even know where my phone is. One of the things that I was telling Helen was one of the things I seen living in the South, especially in Durham, was these little social circles that white women have. And the way they talk about each other is just insane to me. And then they want you to be their little black friend, which, oh, thank you so much, dear. And one of the things I said to a woman, and it cracks me up every time I think about her, the way her face dropped, was, y'all, I just watched you ostracize a friend for the way she dressed. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't hang out with people who talk shit about other people. That's not my bag. I'm from New York. We grew up talking shit about each other to each other's faces. We grew up fighting each other one minute and being friends the next. I'm not used to that petty backstabbing bullshit. I don't like it. I don't like that fake ass nonsense. If you want to be my friend, fine. You want to be my friend and talk about another friend? You better be saying that shit to their face. Because if you think I'm the kind of friend that you can just vent about other people behind their back, I'm going to check you. Just like I would want to be checked. I don't like saying things to people that I wouldn't say to another person's face. And a lot of white people do this. And I don't know if you're just testing people's friendship when you do it, but I always feel more like if you can say that about somebody, what the fuck are you saying about me? Because I know you're talking shit about me. That's where my brain goes. It really is. I have never understood people who do stuff like that. You know, it's just not okay to me. Let me I think I got this right. I am so bad with uh okay. I just want to make sure I got this right. Which T.TV. Look at me. I am so freaking I'm a mess. Just a mess, y'all. Texting people while I'm live. But I promised my dear friend that I would let her know when I was live so that she wouldn't miss it. She already probably missed half of this daggone cast. But the thing is, I was telling her the other night that just seeing the way they operated in those social circles, the way the backstabbing, the I need to be better because whatever reason, and they all look bad to me. And the only one you feel sorry for is the one they pick on. She's just waiting for her opportunity to be the one that is at top. So it was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to separate myself from all of this. So I would go in, do my volunteering at the school, and I would go back home. I didn't want to hang out. I didn't want to deal with any of their bullshit because it was petty and it was catty. I don't like stuff like that. And I love having friends that are females. But if you can't be the kind of friend that we just hang out and talk, I don't need that. I'm not in the mood for the daily dose of drama. If I need that, there are plenty of outlets for that. YouTube is a great outlet for that. I don't need that in my interpersonal relationships. And there are far too many women that, like I said, I feel like it's the control thing. When you don't have control in your life, you find other ways. And the whole fighting with your friends, the whole instigating, the whole I need to be top dog doesn't matter after a certain age anyway. I learned the older I get, I don't give a fuck who likes me. As long as I'm liking what I see in the mirror each morning, that is the way I am. I am done trying to fit myself in any groups, cliques, or circles. It is not fun for me. And if I'm on my own, oh well. And I think that is such a freeing attitude to have, especially in a society that makes you feel like you have to act a certain way. Exactly, respect. I mean, just look at our politics. Look at the way they have gone after women like Hillary. Look at the way they're currently going after our Vice President, Kamala Harris. It is insane the standards that women are held to. But it's the way society has raised us to be. They want us to just be silent unless we're cute, and then we can say a few words to show off how cute and ditzy, because being smart is a no. That supposedly is unattractive. You have these idiots that weighed in today on Twitter about how nobody wants to see a female action star. No, that's not true. We just want to see a female action star that isn't written by a white man. Every female action star from any popular movie has come across as unrealistic because it's a white man's fantasy of what a woman would do in a situation. Are you kidding me? Women have been assassins throughout history, and if y'all learned some real history, you would know that. But we don't have stuff like that. Y'all would rather play video games like Assassin's Creed where the main assassin's a dude. Most dudes are not trusted to get in the household, but you know who is? A sweet smiling woman. And if you knew actual history, you would know that most good assassins were female. Why? Because we knew how to mix poisons, we were allowed to cook, and we were allowed to care for close family members. But y'all act like women don't have those capabilities. We do. I tell people all the time, I am a diagnosed sociopath. I say it because I want people to see the human side of it. And I have worked with my psychiatrist to make sure I don't cross over to the side where you will be reading about me on an episode of Snapped or in the newspaper. But I tell people all the time, I can see how some of these people who have gone over to that other side did it. I am fascinated by those black widows that kill tons of people. It doesn't mean I want to do it. I just understand that mindset. Exactly. That's why so many people in Hollywood keep trying to clone Angelina Jolie with cosmetic surgery. She is one of the top actresses for action movies, and I paid to see a lot of her stuff. The woman who played Trinity in The Matrix is another good one. Plenty of the Marvel movies have fantastic female leads. But our OG is Sigourney Weaver. You're going to tell me that Ripley wasn't good enough to lead a movie? That's why they gave her 3. But you see, men love to act like women can't do these things. They love to act like we are just there to be fuckable meatbags and baby incubators. And I'm sick of it. But I realized that if all I did was complain, nothing's going to get done. So I started writing, and I'm hoping that by writing and pushing my way in, that I can open the door to realistic female characters. But even beyond that, I want women to start seeing our worth, because that's something that isn't taught to us until we're older. And way too many young women are fucking taught so much conflicted bullshit about how we need to carry ourselves, or what we need to be into, or what's it like to be a lady. And nobody can tell you how to be a woman better than you. If you're a woman who likes certain things, but you think, oh, men won't like me because of it, fuck that. You are not put on this earth to be liked by men. You are put on this earth to like what you see in the mirror. Because when you like yourself, you will attract the kind of people that deserve to be around you. We are not teaching our daughters self-worth, and it has done more damage to our society than anything. Because a society with strong women, especially, does better. Whether men want to believe that or not, we're raising y'all, so you should know. It's just frustrating to me that I'm saying this like I'm preaching a sermon, but you have to. Because I think so many women out here right now so confused. They're doing the whole pick me thing. I said it to a young woman earlier on Twitter who was agreeing with that asshat who was like, well, nobody wants to see women in action roles. No women want to see that. And of course you get those pick me's that are like, oh, that's right. No, I'm like everything you want me to be. And I told her, I was like, you need to lose that pick me. You'll thank me for it. Your self-worth will thank me for it. Because all those guys you're trying to impress don't like girls anyway. These incels rate us. They have the nerve to rate us. They've never been around a coochie, but going to talk about this woman is a 1 between a 1 and 10. You're a nothing. How are you rating women based on their sexual experience? How are you rating anybody based on your look? You have never left your parents' house, but you're going to rate me? Get the fuck out of here. I do not understand how these men function in the first place. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm not getting any kind of romantic advice from somebody I know only touch with a vagina was coming out of his mama. And some of y'all be trying too hard to impress these guys. Don't waste your time. Because they're abusive little shitbags and they deserve to be alone until they work on themselves. And if you don't like it, and if you're an incel that may once happen across this when I put it on YouTube, work on yourself. You're not alone because women don't want to deal with you because they only like cool guys. You're alone because you're nasty. And you really need an attitude adjustment. There are women out there for you, but you think you're too good for them. Get over yourself. And maybe you'll touch more than a 2D vagina. But white women play into that too. We looked at Derek Chauvin's mother. Your son was on tape murdering a black man. Your chance to speak about the impact of that, you wanted to act like he was a good boy that did nothing wrong. He was your favorite. When I heard her impact statement, it set me back because you'll get to see your son. It'll be between prison glass for now. You might die before he gets out, but it's not likely because he's a former cop. And all he has to do is get good behavior. He might not even do the full 22 years. Your son's still alive, breathing. George Floyd's family can't hug him. All we can hope is that in the afterlife, the mama he called out to with the last breath, he's with right now. But that attitude of hers, that she was the victim, that she was displaced, y'all need to check that. If you're a white woman right now, I need you to understand that life isn't fair for a lot of us. But to act like your pain is more important than everybody else, that lack of insight with empathy is your downfall. When you make it only about you dwarf out any kind of real alliances you can have. It's why we still classify. Uh-oh.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. It's why we still classify feminism as white feminism versus black feminism when it should just be feminism. But when we see you taking our messages, like Me Too, when we see you taking our rallying cry, our labor when it comes to voting measures and everything else, and making it about you, sticking your faces on magazines like you're the one who came up with it. What killed me about the Me Too movement was, as a survivor of sexual assault, I thought it was going to finally be a way for us to feel seen. I thought especially black women were finally going to be able to talk about not only the aggressiveness that we dealt with, but the racism on top of it, because we literally had things like men hit on us on the workplace and say, well, nobody's going to believe you anyway. When you have somebody say that to you, it destroys any sense of safety you have. And being able to speak up about it now is so freeing, but it doesn't come without knowing that the only reason why people even think about Me Too is because loud ass white women like Alyssa Milano act like they started it. Me Too was started by a black woman because she's seen the kind of harassment we go through. But yeah, I think Sinma is a pick me girl. I think that's her whole problem. She got in a state where it doesn't matter if you're just a benign bigot. Her whole thing is I'm liberal enough. And that's a problem within our party. We have a lot of white liberal enough who think just because they're not full conservative, yet they share a lot of values, that's enough. And it's not. If you're a roadblock to the progress that will help us all out, you're not as liberal as you think you are. And Cinema's problem is she wants to hide behind the I'm just being bipartisan when no, you are being a typical white woman. You are being a pick me. You want to be liked by certain people because you know she's not really a superstar within our party. I wouldn't even know who she was if there wasn't this constant back and forth about her bipartisan nonsense. She knows that she could easily make that leap over to the Republican Party and nobody would bat an eyelash. And that's why I'm always leery of liberal white women who don't talk the talk and don't walk the walk. And you see what happens to the liberal white women who do talk the talk and walk the walk. Look at what they did to Hillary. Hillary was the example that most white women need to set themselves to. Is she perfect? No, but there's no such thing as a perfect woman. That's another thing that we need to get in our minds. There is no way to be a perfect human being. But when you have true empathy, when you are doing the work like Hillary did the work, that is what you should be aiming for. And she took the retaliation, all that hate media, all the constant hate. People still treat her like she's the boogeyman. Why? Because unlike some people who think I can just smile pretty and say I'm liberal, she's doing still. Onward Together is still a thing. I'm part of it. I've gone to several of their Zoom meetings. They are organizing because they want what's best for this country. Hillary could have just said, you know what? F y'all. I don't want to do anything more for this country. I gave you my best and you spit in my face, but that's not the kind of person she is. Christian Cinema wish she could be a Hillary Clinton. Warren wishes she could be a Hillary Clinton. She's another pick me. And I know it makes some of my liberal friends, some of my dear liberal friends, upset when I say that. But I watched the way Elizabeth Warren acted during the primaries, and it soured me to anything I could deal with her. Between copying other people's stuff, that weird ass pseudo alliance with Bernie Sanders, who then she comes out after the fact and said, well, he said he didn't think women should be president anyway. But you wanted to be Wonder Twins with him. So you knew he didn't think women should be president. Why would you align with him? Because she was going like the media wanted everybody to believe that he was the popular voice. Bernie's nothing but a chaos agent, and Warren was nothing but a pick me girl. And some of you need to work on yourself so that you can see people like that. Because they talk a good game. She really had that, I'm just a meek household woman. I work humble jobs. You came from money, even in Oklahoma. There was nothing humble about you, and everything about you screams money. You were a Republican for the first, I'd say, what, 30, 40 years of your life? You switched over because the Democrats are an easy party to get into, and now you think you run shit. She is the definition of the white woman who weaponizes her tears. She was literally at, I don't know if it was a rally or whatnot, and when confronted by black parents asking her, what is your solution? You want to end charter schools. This is the only way our kids can get proper education. What is your solution? She acted like she was scared. How are you going to be our president if talking to us scares you? I want white people to answer me this. If being around us because we're too aggressive for you, how are you asking to be our president? Hillary was never afraid. I guarantee you, if Hillary Clinton was around here right now, she'd give me a hug and she would talk to me because she sees me as a human being. I couldn't say the same thing about Elizabeth Warren. I'd like to be wrong with that, but my vibes don't lie about the way she comes across. I need white women to understand this. We see when you don't see us as people, when you see us as a help, when you look past us, when you use our friendships to say, oh, I'm an ally, so let me say something horribly bigoted because my black friend will cover my back. And if you are categorizing your friends by our skin color or our marginalized positions, you're using us as a shield, and that is not okay. My friends are my friends. It is very rare for me to announce my friends based on their ethnicity, based on who they are with in a relationship, because it's tacky. But some of y'all have no problem doing that. And if you're doing that, you need to work on it. We are not here to defend you when you fight against people. I am not an attack dog. My friendship should be treated as precious as your friendship is to me. You are not my minion, and I am not your minion. And we are not always going to get along. We did not walk the same path. And I say this to even my black friends. We do not always see the same things eye to eye. Just because we have the same skin tone doesn't mean we walk the same life. And honestly, out of my black friends, it's a lot easier for me to say that because they don't get hurt by me saying that. It's not like I'm pointing out anything wrong with them. And that's what I think I need white women to understand. We are not saying these things to hurt your feelings. We're saying this so that you learn. A, it's not about you. B, it's okay to have a difference of opinion. See, a little argument is not the end of the world. Friends should fight every once in a while. Whether it's over something serious or not depends on you. But when you make it where everything has to end over a difference of opinion, you lose out on so much. And so many of us bring that emotion into things that where it's not necessary. One of the things I like to do whenever a friend says something that is out of pocket but none of my business is to keep it moving. Plenty of my friends have crazy opinions based on how they live. If it's not something that's blatantly racist or homophobic or sexist, I mind my business. I know that I have friends who are attention seekers. It's just the way it is. When you're on social media, don't act like you don't want a little bit of attention. That's a lie. So I've learned there are certain things I can mind my business about. If they're spreading misinformation and I try to correct them on it because I have the clarification and they push back, I walk away. If they're being blatant about it, yeah, I might be like, you know what, I don't want to deal with you for a while. But it takes a lot for me to end a friendship. The last friendship that I ended publicly was a habitual line stepper. She know who she is. She's still up to doing it. And my problem with her wasn't even the thing she said. It is the fact that she's using her friends as shields. I don't trust people who do that. I don't want to be your shield, especially when you step in it, because when you step in it and you smear it all over the place, it gets on me too. So I don't trust people who do horrible things and then go, oh, my friends will back me. I ain't signed up for that. We don't have no friendship agreement for stuff like that. Your baggage is yours, and I'm not to help to carry it. That's the way you have to be with friendships. We have to be more mature with this. We're not in high school. I know some people want us to go back to those days where it's just a clique, where we pick our factions. I don't do that. And I can disagree with somebody, and I can even go through a period where I don't even like them and I don't want to deal with them for a bit without dragging everybody into it. But some of y'all don't have power and control in your life, and you use social media for that. And don't think I don't see you. I am constantly in my head because of my illness. So I observe a lot of stuff. If that unnerves people, good. I like doing that too. I'm honest about it. But what I see a lot are people who didn't have control or still don't have control in their life trying to control situations that don't need it. We have millions, if not billions, of people, and not all of them are bots online that you can really foster real relationships with. And instead, you'd rather make clicks because you want to feel the popularity that you might not have felt in high school. And I can tell you, as somebody who was popular in high school, it didn't matter. I can't take none of that to the bank. And it's exhausting, honestly. People wanted me to go to my high school reunion. No thanks. I didn't talk to half of you people. Half of you motherfuckers were saying nothing but racist shit the last 10 years. Why would I want to sit and act like I want to still talk to some of you? Get out of here. But that's how our society is. We cultivate our self worth based on what other people think without boosting our own self worth. And if you have a low view of yourself and your value, you're going to surround yourself with people who have that too. It's when you find worth in yourself, when you find that stock in yourself, and you don't let anybody shake that. That's when the people who are supposed to be around you follow you. That is when the people who are supposed to be around you pump you up. And it shouldn't matter how many there are. Because the most important champion you have is the person that looks back at you when you stare in the mirror. And once you get that mindset, I am telling you, it's free. Exactly, respect. It's exhausting, actually. And I know some people are like, well, it's easy for you to say. It really is easy for me to say. It's exhausting. It isn't fun because you don't feel like you can be your own person when you're younger. And when you're older, you're constantly in fights because you're not going to say what people want you to say all the time. And I don't. And I've had people like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Okay, bye. Hit the road. But there are a lot of people who can't take that. I see it all the time. Oh, I lost 2 followers today. So you'll gain 2 more later. Who cares? Stop trying to be popular and just be you. The best thing I ever did, especially after I left the gaming industry and I didn't really have to promote myself anymore, was I just started talking the way I normally talk. I don't change a daggone thing about my personality. What you see is what you get because it's a lot less exhausting being me. And I think a lot of people just want to be popular without realizing that it doesn't matter. Follow counts don't fucking matter. Popularity is fleeting. And for every person you think likes you, they're just waiting for you to fall. So that's why I say don't get trapped in that cycle of putting your value and your worth in other people's hands. If you see your own value, other people are going to see it. Other people who matter to you are going to see it. And those who don't, fuck them. I am not here to impress anybody but this person. And I'm very impressed with myself. Whether it's just craziness or confidence, I don't know, but I'm happy with me. And it took me over 40 years to get this way. And it shouldn't have, because I went through some shit trying to get this way. Depression, not wanting to be here. And a lot of that was trying to make myself liked by people who don't matter, by people who are going to talk shit about me anyway. And when I realized that I don't care about these people, they don't care about me, why am I working myself so hard? I realized I don't have to. You don't have to. Look yourself in the mirror every day. Talk one thing. If you can find one thing about yourself that you like, hold on to it because I'm telling you, other things follow. It matters because when you have a strong sense of self worth, you move away from being that Karen. You move away from worrying about having control over everything because you're working on the most important person in your life. It is not self centered to make yourself the most important person in your life. Too many people don't want us to have our own self identity because they want us to be molds of whatever they want. And we've got to stop feeding into that. That's why our society is so skewed. But I'm going to get ready to wrap this up. Y'all, thank you so much for being a part of this chat. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I feel like I could have went longer with this topic, honestly, but I just want people to understand that I am not coming on the dog pile train with this. I don't want people taking my words and going, we need to attack white women. They're no good. No, they're misunderstood. And some of them really do take advantage of the situation. But if we help them see their own self worth, if we help them understand that their paths can be their own, that is the way we can make things better. Thank you all so much. We're going to get ready to wrap this up, y'all. But Axiom and I will be back on tomorrow. We're going to do a Gen X Cynics cast. We're going to talk about classic foods, and he's going to do some weird combo. I think he's going to get sick, but we'll see. And then we're going to talk about TV shows and other things. It's just us having fun talking about pop culture stuff. We're gonna work on the sound alerts though, and we're gonna do the dance in the back. I will see you all next week. I'm gonna upload this cast to YouTube, but thank you all for the hype train and everything else. I'll see you all next week. Love y'all.